Ella es abogada, jueza, senadora estatal, locutora y ahora anfitriona de su propio programa de televisión. Únase a Dana Nesselbush en su programa nuevo, ¿Qué onda con Dana? Brindándole acceso cercano y personal a líderes, deportistas, políticos y artistas, evitando lo usual y llegando al corazón de las cosas que importan.
Hi, I'm Dana Nesselbush and welcome to another episode of ¿Qué onda con Dana? ¿Qué onda in Spanish simply means what's happening. On this show, I've always been committed to highlighting interesting, innovative, fascinating people who live humbly among us. And when the shows are in Spanish, I often hear on social media and from my family and friends, the show looks great, sounds great, I only wish I knew what you were saying. So, today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to switch things up and bring to you our first English episode of ¿Qué onda con Dana? And when we decided to do an episode in English, I knew immediately who I wanted our first guest to be. Why? Because when I initially had the idea for this show and I presented the concept to him, Ray immediately loved it, and without question, he donated the entire set for the television show. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming my friend, Ray Bird.
Thank you, welcome.
So I remember that we first met at a Latina 100.3 gathering at the Marriott, and somehow I had the good fortune of being sitting next to you for this luncheon. We started chatting, and I remember thinking, that guy's a really nice guy. And so when I went to do a television show, ¿Qué onda con Dana? I said to my producer, let's call Ray Bird. He's got that whole great Color Time business. Maybe he'll donate some furniture for us. And so it's only appropriate that you are my first English guest because you and Color Time have donated the set for ¿Qué onda con Dana? So let me first start by giving you my heartfelt thanks and again, welcoming you to the show. So why don't we dig right in and tell us, how did you get into the Color Time business?
Well, I was looking to leave my family's business. I was 32 years old, looking to leave my family's business, and I started doing the job search. And I came across an advertisement for Color Time. And I started in May of 1990, and I took a basic entry-level position. And I started working there May of 1990. I helped out doing deliveries, all the basic, functions that you have to do inside of a store like that. And that's how I started.
What was your family business that you wanted to get away from?
Well, it's not that I wanted to get away from it. I had been in my family's business since I was 16 years old. And the business dealt with, my family owned a finance company. They owned a marketing company. We marketed products, dinnerware products like china and crystal and cookware and things like that. And it was the only real job I ever had from the time I was 16. And feeling my oats a little bit and wanted to, strike out on my own. It's very difficult when you're trying to, build yourself up and you're in the shadow of, a great person like my father was. He was a national businessman. Wow. And so I just wanted to try out on my own.
So how did you get there? Literally you start doing deliveries. How do you move up in the company and how does it work?
Well, I didn't have any college degrees or anything. So the only way I know how to do it was just work real hard, learn how to do things the way they're supposed to be done, and then get them done exactly how they're supposed to be done, and just be patient. And then just through doing things correctly and being the person that, the owners of the company and the management staff of the company, if they needed a project done, they're looking to have it done, go to this guy because we know he does it right and he's going to get it done.
So we got here a self-made man, and I like it. It shows everybody that you don't have to have a college degree to be successful. And so did you just move on up the ranks of Color Time?
Yeah, I was with them for a little less than a year, and there was a store manager position open in one of the stores. And the owner came to me and said, we'd like to give you a shot at it. So that was beginning in 1991. I took over and managed one of their stores in Fall River, Mass. And then from there, I was a store manager, and my store ended up being one of the best stores that he had. So,
of course, it's Ray Bird.
Then they needed they needed a district manager because their stores were in Mass, Rhode Island, Louisiana, and they opened more stores in Ohio. So he needed more of an on-site presence that could oversee multiple stores. So then they made me in charge of 8 of their stores, 4 in southeastern Mass and 4 in Rhode Island. And I did that for a couple of years, and I enjoyed it.
Let's tell our viewers, like, what is Color Time? You know, what do you do? What's your motto? What's your business, and how do you market? Like, tell us a little bit about it.
It's a very interesting, very niche business. We lease, and we do some sales, but 95% of what we do is leasing. Basically, it's real simple. Everything for the home in the aspect of furniture, appliances, computers, electronics. When I went for the interview, I came home, and remember, I came from a finance background. So when I came home, sitting at the kitchen table like everybody would do, you know, and your wife says, how'd the interview go? What was the job like? And I remember one of the first things I said to her was, they're not going to be in business in 5 years. Because the way they explained it to me was a person could walk in, let's say it's this big television right here. They fill out a basic rental order form. There's no credit checks, no security deposits. They could pay a first week or first 2 weeks lease payment on it, and then they deliver it. So my thought at first was, from a finance background, there's no credit checks, there's no deposits, they must be suffering massive losses.
Right, you would think that people would stop paying, shut the door, move to a new address, and that Color Time would never see this color TV again.
Well, what I've come to learn is people that purchase items, they don't pay you because they have to. They pay you because they want to. So I firmly believe if you take care of good customer service, you treat the customers correctly, you treat them like family. When they come into the store, you do what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it, and you deliver the product. They pay you because they want to pay you.
I love that. Ray Bird believes in humanity, and he's got a business model that supports it. I think that's really, hats off to you. That's really amazing.
As a result of that approach, maybe I'm kind of telling you how old I am, but I now have 6 or 7, I don't know the exact number, 6 or 7 customers that are the children of the parents I was renting to.
Really?
25 years ago when I first started.
That's amazing. And I remember you were telling me that you also deliver furnishings for like sports teams. I mean, who are you working with besides your average person who might come into a Color Time store in Providence or the surrounding area?
That was kind of an offshoot. The main business is what I described, but then as a result, I started getting phone calls from professional people. We're now involved with a lot of realtors and brokers to do staging. We call that our short-term rentals, where a broker needs to furnish a home or a condo for a month, 2 months, 3 months while it's up for sale to present it the way they want the customer to see it. So we do staging. We do. I just signed the deal with the Dunkin' Donuts Center.
Oh wow!
We furnish all the dressing rooms for all the concerts and events that come to the Dunk.
So do you get to like meet famous people that come? Like if Billy Joel or Bruce Springsteen, do you get to like meet them or anything?
Sometimes they've asked to meet me, and I'm just kind of very busy. I can't get to see them so much.
Yeah, you can't make time for Bruce Springsteen or Billy Joel.
We know who the
he's
boss
a busy
is.
guy.
We know who the boss is.
That's it. That's it. Where did you grow up? Are you a Rhode Islander or nearby Massachusetts?
I grew up in Framingham, Massachusetts. I moved to Rhode Island when my wife and I got married, and that was in, I got married in 1979, but we moved in 1980. So
nice.
We first lived in Providence, and then we bought a home in Johnston.
So let's hear the Camino, the road, so to speak. Tell us about Ray Bird, the person, Ray Bird, the guy. Like, who's the guy behind Color Time? Do you have a wife, kids?
Yeah, I have a lovely wife. Her name is Wendy. We met when she was 12 years old and I was 13. And then we dated for 9 years, and then we got married in 1979. So this October, we'll be married for 39 years.
Wow, congratulations. Now that is a blessing from God, for sure.
Yeah.
And kids?
We have 3 children, all grown. And my oldest son, he's 38. He works for the union. He's an international laborers union. My middle son, he's 36. He runs one of my businesses up in Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
Nice.
And our daughter, is a nurse, an RN at Marriott Hospital.
Oh,
and she's
what
been
great
there
work.
for 12 years.
I'm sure your kids are as great as you and Wendy, though I haven't met her. I'd love to. Yeah. So listen, if you're watching the show from Woonsocket, go into your local Color Time. Tell Chris Bird that you saw his father on TV and see if you can see anything at the store that you like.
Thank you.
So what about, growing up, you talked a little bit about your family business. Did you have someone that you would identify like as a mentor or somebody that you really looked up to? Who would that be?
I have to say it was my father. He's the one who really taught me, the ideals of running a business the right way. Just taking care of your customers, doing things correctly. I learned a lot of, concepts and business theories that help you recognize situations as they come up. Things I think I don't think you would learn at a college or university.
Right.
These are more things that on a day-to-day, real-time things that happen.
What a great demonstration of success. You don't have to have a college degree. As Ray's saying, all you got to do is work hard, be honest, do the right thing, treat your customers well, and it's a recipe for success.
It's not easy.
No.
There's all kinds of obstacles and
There always
life
are,
pitfalls
though,
that come along, and you have to be able to work through those things.
There always are obstacles, and so speaking of that, what would you say were your greatest obstacles that you've had to overcome?
Different economies. You have to adjust. You have to modify and adjust your business as the business climate changes. A good example of that would be what we're going through right now. We have to modify our business where a lot of brick and mortar stores. We used to have very large showrooms where I would be able to put all the merchandise out on the floor so the customers could come in and see it. What's happened over the past few years is due to the internet and Wi-Fi and all the online shopping, people are not necessarily coming into businesses. They're looking at your website. They're looking at your online presence. They're ordering and picking out what they want from online. So an example of the difficulty that would come along if you did not recognize that and then adjust and modify your business model to that, well, you become a dinosaur and you eventually die on the vine.
Yeah.
So we've changed our showrooms to much smaller footprints. We now have kiosks in our showrooms where customers can go over to the kiosk and look through the entire catalog. That's where it's being evolving as it goes. There's certain items that I believe that no matter what you see online or what you see in a website, like a good example would be furniture. Until you sit in it and you feel it, then you really don't know if that's something you're gonna like. It might look good, it might look like what you want, but then when you get it, the shade's slightly off.
Right.
It happens all the time when you order curtains, or it doesn't matter. The shade's off, or when you sit in it, I don't like the way it sits. So there is still a definite need to have a physical location. So what we've done is we have a good representation of what we carry in that showroom, but I might only have one piece there.
Right, or one color.
Or one color, then they could see the other, so that way they can see it, feel it, touch it, and then pick the other pieces and the other colors right out of the kiosk.
So if one of our viewers wants to possibly rent furniture from Color Time, what do you usually give out? An email address, a telephone number? How do they contact one of your stores to be able to see if they can find something that they like and want to rent?
If they saw it on our online or our Facebook page, there's on our website, there's a way that you can just put in it's an initial order form where you put basic information, your name, address, contact information, and then we try to get back to that person within 24 hours.
So tell us a little bit more, what do you watch? What are your favorite TV shows? What do you watch? What do you do when you're not at Color Time working?
Well, I'm a big sports maniac. I like to go to the events. I like to go to my favorite Patriots games. I like the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Celtics.
And you like to go. I like to watch them at home. Then you can pause, or at the commercial, you go get yourself something to drink or something to eat. It's so much easier. But you like to go to the real event, huh?
This is when my daughter, who's a nurse, says that we have issues. Because we'll go to the event and we'll tape it. Then when we come home, we rewatch it.
Oh, geez. Now that is a sports fan if I ever saw one.
Personally, I'm not into the social media things. I don't have a Facebook page or a Twitter account.
You're like an old school guy. I love it.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So I know that we met each other through 100.3, our friends at Latina 100.3. But I have that impression that a lot of your business at Color Time is through the Latino community. Is that true, or is that true?
Yes. If I took a look at our entire customer base, about 50% of our customers are Latino.
Wow. And how did you get into the Latino community, or how did that evolve? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, at that seminar that we went to, the marketing to the Latino and Hispanic community, I just bought my own franchises in 2004, and I was, running the business and going along, and I had heard that there was a lot of opportunity in the Latino community for business. So I kind of started to try to do it on my own. And I learned, it's the way I do most everything else. I kind of fumble and bumble along.
How did you try to reach out to the Latino community on your own? That's kind of interesting.
I tried to take like little advertisements that I was doing and translate them into Spanish.
And put them in a Spanish newspaper?
And put them in the Spanish newspaper. We used to do inserts in in a lot of the local newspapers. Then I got a little more sophisticated. I contacted the Latina radio station, and we started doing some commercials. And I learned some valuable lessons in that first year.
Yeah, no, they're just great folks over at Latina. Who do you work with over there?
Cesar Salas.
Cesar, you work right with Cesar. He goes right to the top. I love it.
Yeah, I think when we talked about it at that seminar, I told you one of the biggest mistakes I made was we were doing a big promotion, a Cinco de Mayo promotion. And what I come to find out was that's more of a Mexican holiday than a Central American or Caribbean.
It's actually, Latino I would say it's even more of an American holiday. We took Cinco de Mayo, or I should say Corona took Cinco de Mayo, did a good job with it. But I think that is literally what's called the Battle of Puebla, which is a small city or town in Mexico.
Right.
And as I understand it from my Mexican friends, and that's like Jose from El Azteca restaurant, a Mexican restaurant in town. He tells me that they don't even really celebrate that in Mexico, and that it's really Americanized. But I could see, so you're trying to do a big Cinco de Mayo, and the whole Latino community is like, what are you talking about?
It was a total flop. So then I talked to my friends that have stores in Texas and along that border, and it was very successful there. So then when I worked with Cesar, he said, no, that's not something that in this community that's celebrated. So then we kind of tweaked it, and I went to different promotions that were more in line with the communities from Puerto Rico, from Dominican Republic, from Central America, Guatemala, Honduras, from all that area there, and the Caribbean Latinos.
Islands, yeah.
So I changed, and that's what I meant when I said you just fumble and bumble along and you learn. And it took me about a year. I'm a slow learner. It took me about a year, but once I got it right, and then my Latino business took off. And then the other lessons I learned from that was you have to have Latino employees in the store.
Of course.
Because when you do that marketing, the promotion, and then when they come in,
they start hablando Español. How's your Español?
My Spanish is not that good.
So listen, a special saludo, a special hello to Cesar Salas, but of course I gotta give a saludo to my guy, Ivan Rojas. Ivan is a great Colombian guy. I don't know if you know Ivan from...
Yes, I met him many times.
Yeah, he's been with me from the beginning, and so nice hello to you, Ivan, and thanks for everything that you do.
I like to have fun too. You got to be yourself. You got to be yourself, accept who you are. And I think if you keep the mood a little bit light, it's very appreciative. I find that the Latino customer is very, very loyal. And if you treat them right and you treat them with respect, they always do business with you. So I like to have fun. So, a lot of times when they come into the store and they leave, and it's like during the daytime, when they leave, I'll say, buenos nachos. And then they usually get a chuckle, like, who's this crazy guy? And they try to correct me.
Right.
And they say, no, buenos tardes. I said, no, it's lunchtime, buenos nachos and queso. So,
I love it. You're making me laugh right here just thinking about buenos nachos.
Yeah, it just keeps it light. Yeah.
So what about music? Are you a music guy? Like, do you have, I was mentioning Springsteen, Billy Joel. I'm showing my age and my predilections. What about you?
That's all of them.
Yeah?
Yep. I'm more into like the classic rock and some pop music, but...
And how about, do you follow politics? Do you worry about anything?
Those things, I try to deal with what I can control.
Smart advice.
I do with what I can control. Everybody has their own opinions. I have a firm belief that just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. You just have to listen, and that's somebody else's perspective. I've learned a lot from traveling. I've been very fortunate the traveling that I've done. And when you travel to different places and you get outside the tourist traps, and you try to spend time where the culture is,
Where have you gone? What are some of your favorite
been
countries or wherever
Venezuela,
you've
I've been to Dominican Republic, I've been to Haiti.
Nice. Where in the DR? Where in the Dominican Republic?
Well, of course, first of all, the big tourist place is Punta Cana.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple times. One time I was out in Punta Cana and spent some time out there.
I love it. I'm a big fan myself.
It was beautiful, but I really like Puerto Plata. We stayed at near
north.
Confresi Beach, and we stayed there. And that's why I like to just get outside the resorts and just you learn a lot. Sometimes when I'm in these different places, I've looked at my wife and said, if you opened your eyes here, if you were born here, you would be a completely different person. Your whole perspective on life, how you view things would be different. So when you look at things that way, when you talk to somebody else and the culture they come from or where they come from, they're not, if it's completely different than what you think and believe, they're not wrong. It's just their perspective.
Of course.
So you have to just take all that into consideration. And I think that's what you asked about. That's what's missing in politics.
Right, is understanding that there are different points of view. It's so true. I wish we could all accept each other and each other's points of view and then try to find that common ground and that compromise.
Yeah, I remember this one restaurant we went to in Puerto Plata. We didn't speak Spanish and they didn't speak English at all. I remember ordering from the menu by just pointing.
It's great.
I'll try
Did you have a great meal?
Yeah, it was a great meal. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What about anything keep you up at night? Anything that you worry about?
No, I sleep like a baby.
Good for you.
When I lay down, I call it
it's a nice clear conscience.
I call it a clear conscience.
That's good.
Once I lay down, I'm out.
Nice. The day I was in your store, obviously I saw lots of people coming in and going out, and you had other people there who were helping them. But in your years running your Color Time stores, is there a particular family situation or story or something that somebody told you that they really needed furniture or something that sticks with you all these years? Anything that you can remember? Or
we have many customers we've done.
Or a touching
things with.
story, I guess, is what I'm really asking.
Well, I've had one particular customer that they were going to return their merchandise, and they're more than halfway done with it, and they were going to return their merchandise because they had some little financial hardship, and plus they just had an infant baby, and they needed some things for the infant baby and whatnot. So this gentleman had been a customer of mine for at least 10 years at that point. So what ended up happening was, I got together with my brother and the other people in the company, and we thought the right thing to do would be, we went out and we bought all the baby furniture and set up the customer's house and everything with all that, and said if you still want to return it, you can return it. Which they didn't, now that they didn't need to do that, and they kept it.
Nice.
And he's still a customer of mine to this day.
Nice, very nice. I always knew you were a great guy.
Yeah.
So what's the future for Color Time? You mentioned earlier that you're kind of downsizing a little bit. Do you think it'll stay in the family? And then what's left for, Ray Bird when you're not at Color Time every day?
No, it's gonna continue. We have the 3 stores. We have the development agreement to open more stores. I'm just at the bottom, not at the bottom, I'm at the very end of my run. It's going to be almost 30 years I've been doing it. So once you hit
30 years.
my age, I just like to, I'd like to spend more time with my grandchildren and just, hang out a little bit. But my brother and my son, they've both been with me for 10, 11, 12 years. And they're doing a great job running their locations, and they'll just assume the 3. And then if they open more and grow and expand, that'll be up to them.
Nice. And what do you see ahead for you in retirement, as they say? Like, what will you do?
Well, I don't know. I think I'm just going to be able to spend time going to more social events, more functions.
Go down to the Cape more, I bet.
Cape. My favorite thing to do is I'll get a couple of my grandchildren, and we just spend the day together.
So you said 6 grandchildren?
We have 6, yes.
Why don't you tell us their names? Let's.
Well, we have Sam. She's starting her sophomore year at Johnson & Wales Culinary Arts College. She's
nice.
She's very, very talented in pastries and baking. I think she's going to do a semester in Paris this year.
Wow. There's some good food there.
Some good food, some good experience.
Some good croissants.
Croissants.
Yeah.
So she's doing well. Our second oldest is our grandson Robert. He just turned 18. He just moved into his dorm at Rhode Island College last week.
Nice.
Little baseball star. He won the Cy Young Award for pitching in Division III in Rhode Island in 2017.
Wow, congratulations.
So he's going to be playing baseball at Rhode Island College. Then my Next grandchild down is Tori. She's 14. She's just starting high school. And she just informed us that, and she's very, very bright. She's been looking at West Point in Annapolis. She wants to be a surgeon. So that's really good. And then I have another grandson, Christopher. He's 12. He's doing really well. And then we got little Vinny. He's 3. And then Emma. She's 14 months.
Oh my gosh. You must be very proud of all of them.
Oh yeah.
Very proud of all of them.
Yeah.
So listen, I also know that you said you were a sports fan. And the politician in me can't help but ask you, what do you think about the loss of the Paw Sox? I'm still devastated by that. And, you know, to me, it's a colossal failure of government. What are your thoughts on that?
Should never happen. They're there. They've been there. It's generational. It's a shame, but that's one of those things where I look at it and say, I have no control over that. It's wrong.
Man.
It's wrong. It should be there. It should be the Paw Sox.
I'm calling them the worst Sox right now, only because my heart is broken
Sox.
that the Paw Sox are moving up to Worcester. So
And I do business with the team. At the McCoy Stadium, I furnish a lot of the TVs in their suites.
Really?
I know Rick Medeiros, the guy who runs the stadium, very well.
Sure.
We've had a lot of events there. Every year I do I call it, we set up a color time day at McCoy Stadium. And I usually get a couple of hundred tickets that we give to all of our customers.
How nice.
We bring them to the barbecue tent passes, the fireworks. We have, at least once a summer, we have an event there where it's color time day at McCoy Stadium. And
well, listen, I'm still hoping against hope that something happens and somehow the Paw Sox come back to Pawtucket. But in the meantime, let me ask you, so you've been doing business in the Latino community for a long time. Have you learned any dance moves? Are you able to do a little bachata or anything?
Yeah, no, I'm not very big on dancing.
Well, listen, we're going to see. I ask all of my guests on this show to dance. So let's see if we can get Ray Bird, the white American owner of Color Time. Let's see if we can get you to do a little bachata.
It'll be like a comedy skit.
Music maestro. Bailemos?
Vamos.
All right, we're going to teach this white guy some bachata.
Good luck.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Just follow me.
Okay.
And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3. Great job. 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3, tap. Woo! You got it. You are dancing bachata.
Thanks.
You are doing it. Listen, thank you so much for being my guest.
My pleasure.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
No hay palabras. You're a great guy. Thank you for joining us for another episode of ¿Qué onda con Dana? As you can see, Ray Bird is not only quick on his feet, but he's also a great example of someone who started in an entry-level position in a company, and through his honesty, hard work, long hours, and good business practices, is now a successful business person owning several Color Time franchises. I always end our show with a quote, and today's comes from one of the greats, Albert Einstein, who said, "Logic can take you from point A to point B, but imagination can take you everywhere." Thank you for joining us, and until the next show, I hope to see you out and about. Este show está patrocinado por nuestros buenos amigos de Color Time, las mejores tiendas de ventas y arrendamiento en Rhode Island, incluyendo furnitura, aparatos electrónicos y mucho más. Color Time tiene las mejores marcas y precios. Visite y salude a mi gran amigo Ray y dígale que le mandó su amiga gringa Dana. Si les gustó el programa, puedes usar este enlace para verlo de nuevo.
La tristeza que yo siento